We are just weeks away from spring break here in Minnesota, and travel experts are forecasting the busiest travel season in years.
Gordon Severson has a spring break preview so you know what to expect if you're heading to the airport this year.
Well, last month, TSA officers screened more travelers than they did in January of 2019. So not only were they back to pre-pandemic levels, they were even higher. The agency says that's the first time that has happened since the pandemic started 3 years ago, with 60.5 million travelers last month compared to 57.2 million in January of 2019. So far in February, the numbers are pretty much even, with 31.4 million this year compared to 31.7 million in 2019, and they expect this trend will continue heading into spring break.
The demand has just been unbelievable.
Ted Blank has been a busy man in recent months. He owns his own travel agency in the Twin Cities and says this is shaping up to be one of the busiest spring breaks he's ever seen.
There are no last-minute deals. It was definitely a time to plan ahead.
Meanwhile, he says capacity nationwide is still down about 20% compared to pre-pandemic levels. So there are more travelers, fewer flights, and fewer workers.
We're not the only country in the world that's struggling with labor shortages.
The best thing that a passenger can do is arrive early, give yourself plenty of time.
Local TSA reps say they should have enough officers on hand to meet the demand, but just in case, the agency has its national deployment force, where they can bring in officers from other airports that aren't quite as busy.
And it's one of those things where when you need it, you tap it, and then when you don't need it, maybe you're giving a few officers to another airport.
This comes just weeks after an outage at the FAA shut down flights nationwide for several hours. The agency's top official addressed a Senate panel this week and said they know what went wrong and they have a new procedure in place so it shouldn't happen again.
After the incident, we implemented a synchronization delay to ensure that bad data from one database cannot affect the backup database.
But Blank says delays and cancellations can still happen, so travelers should be prepared.
People who are traveling over spring break should definitely pack a little bit of patience.
Now, I asked Ted, that travel agent, what advice he had for someone who hasn't booked their trip yet. He jokingly said, start thinking about next year. But all joking aside, he said the most popular spots are likely booked up, but if you're flexible with where you're going, when you're going, and where you're going to stay, you can still pull a last-minute vacation together. But again, you have to be flexible and you have to be patient.
All right, some good information there, Gordon. Thank you.